I would like to think that some of them have your best interests in mind, that there's just a crazy competitive system, and that we maybe, you know, maybe it's just like what the system makes. Like the system kind of makes corruption because of lobbyists, because of the way it's set up. It's almost like you can't pull it out of it.
I totally agree with you that there's plenty of good ones.
Yeah.
But it's just like cops. I know a lot of cops,
Right.
and they're all good guys.
I think there's more good cops
when the
than there is
shitstorms pop
politicians.
up, but when the shitstorms pop up, they don't buck out and say, like, you know what, that was wrong, and go against what the group of cops or politicians is saying. Either one. I could be either one. They side even in wrong times when they shouldn't. Where are those voices? I want to hear them.
Don't you think there's way more good
That's
cops?
where you get respect. Yes,
than
I
there
do.
are politicians?
I do. But but my point is there's a code.
Oh, yeah.
There's a code.
I know what you're saying.
And that good cop will fucking not shit on a bad cop. Maybe he won't back him, but he's still. There's a time when you got to shit on that thing or that person or that act.
That act.
And there's this code in politicians and in cops where they don't call out the bullshit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's where I lose all the respect for everything. It's like, yo, and I just sit back. I'm on some Carlin shit, man. I got a front row seat to the freak show.
Though,
I'm gonna watch it go down.
You're asking them to do the impossible job. You're asking them to be around violence and lying and danger, and they're the enemy. You're asking them to be the professional enemy to professional criminals. That's what you're asking them to do all the time. And so, like, there's a reason why they bond together like that, because they're all in the war together, and it's us and them, and it's we on the outside. I don't think we understand what the fuck they go through. That's why they have this bond with each other. It's
no doubt.
You would want that. You really would want that.
But there comes a time.
You're right.
And there's been a few of them lately in recent history.
Oh, yeah.
Where there should have been an overwhelming condemnation by a group of a smaller group of that group's actions.
Right.
You
Like
know
a
what I mean?
perfect example is that Eric Gardner case in New York, where they choked that guy who was just selling cigarettes. They didn't have to do that. There was no reason to do that. That guy didn't even have any cigarettes on him. The whole thing was fucked up. They were saying he wasn't complying. Why should he comply? He wasn't doing anything. You can't. You can't choke
when you watch the video, was he not
out.
complying enough to die? You know what I mean?
Well, I think the dude had like an asthma attack or something, but obviously
I think
it was
they also
provoked.
had a fucking bar.
They did. They had a choke. It was a weak-ass choke, though. It was more like, honestly, I mean, it was a chokehold, but it was more like the way he was applying it was like a restraining thing more than it was. I want to see it. Let me see it again. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. But without a doubt, the forearm was under the neck. Like if I was calling it in a fight, I would say this guy's getting choked.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, let's not even go down that road. But the point of this conversation, I believe, was just saying, like, yo, that overwhelming larger number of good folks, whether it's cops, politicians, soldiers, whatever.
Right.
I do believe that exists. That the majority of them are decent, good people.
Yeah.
But when the shit hits the fan, they don't collectively say, that's wrong and that's fucked up. No, they all band together and say, like, all right, we'll try and bury this and hide it or just deny it kind of thing. And that, as a group, loses you respect when people are, that are interested in justice and interested in fair play and interested in that, see these things happen. They lose faith. Yeah. And I think there's no faith in anything right now. The way I see the division in this country, all that, there's no faith in anything.